Hello and welcome to In Focus, the Duncairn Arts Centre's documentary series showcasing up-and-coming musical talent. Today we are in the Lakeland county of Fermanagh, close to the Cavan border, to meet composer, performer and multi-instrumentalist Rose Connolly. Rose is a student of the Royal Irish Academy of Music and is currently studying at the Royal Conservatory in The Hague. She has won awards for her compositions, written scores for short films and has many big plans for 2022 and beyond. So let's meet Rose and find out more about this very inspiring artist. Hi Rose, thank you for joining us in Focus, and what a beautiful setting it is here in the boathouse at Crom Castle Estate with Lough behind us. So I wanted to ask you just what it was like growing up around here.
It was an immense privilege, something I might have took for granted maybe during my teenage years, but now I'm very much appreciative of it, just to have it so close by. We have Crom and we have Castle Sanderson and Gloon, and even just the fields next to where I live is just very much a big part of my childhood and growing up. And then in recent times I've really tried to connect to it, and a lot of the poetry I write is definitely connected to the nature. And then being in like this, in this cultural kind of area, the Irish language is having a massive impact on my writing as well, because it's so important.
And are you trying to bring the Irish language into your music?
Yeah, and I'm still learning it, so I know that in a few years when I hopefully become fluent, it'll be a massive part of my music.
Are you from a musical family?
Very musical family, yeah. So probably goes back to my dad's side. The Connollys all kind of sang and played Irish music. It was kind of the session house of the area. And my mum's dad as well played music, so kind of from both sides. And then my older siblings are much older than me. They'd be in their 30s now, so growing up I just had them playing all the time, so that was a great musical upbringing to have, and you'd be just running about in the house and picking up instruments as I went along, and that's probably why I play quite a few instruments and picked it up quite easily because of them. So
what was the first instrument you started playing around on?
Well, the kind of basic instrument would probably be tin whistle, the Flattox Dawn. And then fiddle, and then I kind of went off the fiddle and then went to banjo, and then I started piano, and then picked up ukulele and flute and mandolin and stuff along the way. And
you're one of those people that I'm very jealous of that can just pick up anything and play, I imagine.
Well, I think just it's easily absorbed. When I was so young, just picking it up very easily, and being around music all the time, and then just understanding theory as well, and then having a good ear, just kind of come together to make it a bit easier for me, I guess.
Tell me about your experiences at the Royal Irish Academy of Music.
I loved it. It was great. I joined there in 2018 and met lots of different performers, and there was actually a lot of different great musicians there I could just write for, because I was the only composer at the time, and led me to a lot of really nice opportunities and commissions and different awards and stuff that I won in Dublin. So it was a nice kind of close-knit community for musicians.
I wanted to ask how you came then from the Royal Irish Academy of Music to study at the Royal Conservatory in The Hague in the Netherlands.
So I went on an Erasmus year last year, and just it was supposed to be just for a year, and then I just loved The Hague so much. I met great people and a lot of like-minded people there. So, and there was a lot of ties with the Art Academy. So we started getting into performance art, and that's something I'm trying to maybe get into as well. It was kind of just a very open and creative space. It's kind of anything was possible there. So I loved it. Yeah.
And how do you think your own work has then evolved by studying in Europe?
Definitely being more open-minded. I always thought I was open-minded, but going to The Hague made me realise that anything was possible, and just feel at anything, and that will get you to where you want to go. And the more you feel, better. And that was such an obvious thing to say, and I always thought I knew that, but never really realised it until I actually did it and went for it and just made all these weird and crazy art performances. Yeah, meeting great free improvisers and learning from that.
And I think you went in 2020, which obviously was a bad year to go anywhere. Have you had a chance to perform live for an audience?
Not yet, no. Unfortunately not in The Hague, but we met up for regular jam sessions, and it was actually kind of nice because it just kind of made you focus on your own music, I guess.
So you come back to the compositions. Do you, when you're writing like a score, say for an orchestra, for example, do you have to have the understanding of all the different parts and instruments?
Yeah, so you really need to know, like, you know, the range of the instrument, or how it transposes, if it's a wind instrument or brass instrument. You need to know, yeah, kind of the fundamentals of each instrument. So it takes a while to learn that. Google is your friend, though, a lot of the time.
Oh, no, don't give your secrets away.
Well, Google's Google.
Yeah. Is there a certain instrument that you always start with?
Well, it depends on the project, but it's always piano. It's just basic instrument to start off with, and then depends what kind of sound I'm going for, what the context is, and I can change to something else. You know, or electronics I'm getting into as well recently, so might do some electronic stuff. It depends just what the project is.
Neil Carter
I noticed on your creative CV that in 2020 you won the Royal Television Society's Student Television Award in the undergraduate category for the film Control Alt Z, which, I mean, I've watched the animation and it was really dramatic, I thought, really intense, and the score just added another level onto that. So, like, tell us about that project.
That was a great project. I was asked to do that and I just had fun with it. It was the second film that I scored and I don't know how it worked. I actually just faffed about and just tried loads of different sounds, and I was actually learning the digital audio workstation at the time, so I was just really experimenting. I just kind of worked, so it was a really fun experience.
And do you enjoy that crossover between music and other art forms?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to be doing. Just exploring lots of different kind of platforms and projects and different things, because it kind of feeds into each other, and you can learn a lot in each of the different disciplines.
One of the most eye-catching achievements in your biography was winning the Finding a Voice composition competition for emerging young women. And at the start of 2021, you announced that you'd been selected for the Arts Council of Northern Ireland Young Musician Platform Award. So What does that mean for your creative career?
Yeah, well, it was great. The Finding a Voice was an amazing platform and concert series. I actually did 2 gigs. I did one kind of trad gig there, and then Anne-Marie O'Farrell played my harp piece that I won for the composition competition. So it was a really lovely space for just female writers and poets and singers, musicians, composers. So it was really, really nice to have that opportunity. And then the Arts Council Award was another really nice way for me to create my own album next year and the year after. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Will that mean album, tour, rock and roll lifestyle?
Well, I don't know about the rock and roll lifestyle, but hopefully it's my first album, and I'm going to be producing it myself in my studio. So it'll kind of be a first, and I'm going to just probably fail, or I probably won't. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens.
That's the spirit.
Yeah, don't care.
Yeah. And will you be working with other musicians or an orchestra? Or?
Yeah, so the proposal allowed me to also write for the Ulster Orchestra and sing with them as well in February as part of a radio programme. So that's another really amazing opportunity as well.
As the sun was setting behind the fountain, a dew was falling upon the leaves, and I was seated beside a fountain, a feathered songster sang on a tree. With love and blessings his notes were sounding, makes me reminded of days of yore, wherein a bower I picked a flower, and I dreamt of Edward, Lakelands shore. Ah, the cuckoo's notes like the airy sounding, appeal to feeling, to please the ear, and every note's like a bliss abounding, and it makes me lonely on Lakelands shore. Each step I take by the winding river, where we have wandered in days of yore, reminds me of Edward, my banished lover, and now I am lonely on Lakelands shore. A crop of sorrow my heart is reaping, my rose has faded and hope's decayed, for in the night time when all are sleeping, awake I am weeping till the break of day. Delight has fled me and woe has wed me. Why did you leave me, my love, a store? but law compelled him, my banished Edward, and now I am lonely on Locherin shore. Oh, could I move like the moon or the ocean, I would send a sigh over the distant deep. Oh, could I move like the moon or the ocean, I would send a sigh o'er the distant deep. Or could I move like a bird in motion by Edward's side, I would ever keep. I'd fondly soothe him, with songs amuse him, I gently soothe him till he sigh no more. And 7 long years would soon pass over, and we'd both live happy on Locherin shore. One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small, and the one that mother gives you won't do anything at all. Go ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall, and if you go chasing rabbits and you know they're going to fall, tell 'em a hookah smoking caterpillar won't do anything at all. Go ask Alice, I think she'll know. When the men on the chessboard get up and tell you where to go, and you've just had some kind of mushroom and your mind is moving low, go ask Alice, I think she'll know. When logic and in proportion have fallen slowly dead, and the white knight is talking backwards, and the red queen's off with the head, remember what the dolman said. Feed your head, feed your head.
How would you describe your sound?
That's a very tough question. It's constantly changing. In terms of composition, like the Irish music is always there in the background. The contemporary music, the classical contemporary music is there with the kind of things I've learned about colour and timbre and the way you can use an instrument. And then jazz, like harmony, I'm obsessed with. So those 3 things kind of all kind of mould together in some compositions, but I don't know what that is. Trasy, classical stuff.
Yourself as a performer, from what I've seen of you in real life and online, it's quite a, I don't want to say theatrical, but it's quite energetic kind of performance. And I want to know what happens in your mind when you're performing, what you're thinking about, if you're even thinking, or it's just kind of instinctive?
It's, there's no thinking, I don't think, actually. I don't know. I definitely like to get into a flow, or I just love getting into that energy where you don't even know where you are, and it's just a very beautiful experience. Just to communicate with someone and feed off each other and communicate through music is a really amazing thing to do.
You certainly have some very big plans for next year, but quite soon you're going to be up performing in the Duncairn in Belfast, so what can we expect from that performance?
A range of style maybe, and a bit experimental, I guess, a little bit. It's kind of a range of different ideas. Definitely trying to explore more shanno singing as well, and actually using a lot of the songs and poetry I used from a long time ago as well. So yeah, this will be an interesting one.
Well, we're very much looking forward to welcoming you to the Duncairn and indeed showing you around Belfast. So thank you for joining us on In Focus.
Thanks so much for having me.
She the one she call it Connolly. She the one more valley is 40. She on board it shot again. She the one more she call it Connolly. She the one more your value is 40. She on board it shot again. bosa ta shiro ka stola shantarge She the wamo she the wamo le gala kanarge She the wamo ya body's 40 she on board to shot again Scottish caboose and merchant on Mali shore. Scottish caboose, Sean and his more is my She the wamo, you call it another again.